Welcome everyone to Life Story Podcast. This is season 6, episode 3. It's been a pleasure. It's been my joy to continue to bring this podcast episodes to you. And as always, I want to thank everyone who's listening. I know that the content that we've been bringing to you this year is not our usual content, but I am thankful. We are thankful to everyone who continues to listen and to engage with us. So as we jump into this one, I'll just let you know that today we do have a guest. This guest is someone that some of you might be familiar with. It's my sister, Gwen. We've done some podcasts, some episodes together, discussing just the work that she does as, I would say, a social advocate. I'll let her introduce herself, but I'm sure to many of you, her voice is not uncommon, and some of you already are familiar with what she does in Zimbabwe on the national stage for Africa and on a global stage for people, not just people with albinism, but women in general, societal issues, education, childhood development, and many areas in life where we have people who are disenfranchised and people who need a voice. So without me saying too much, today, Gwen, you want to redo my introduction and make it make sense?
I think you summed it up so nice. You really described who I am, what I do, and I think I'll leave it like that.
Okay. Well, we'll move on then to the next thing. The subject of our episode today is a continuation on this journey that I've been taking you guys along with us. And the title of this journey obviously is Dancing with My Mother. We've been telling stories about her life. We know she passed away in 2024. And I've had plenty of time to reflect on her legacy, on her accomplishments, on how she impacted my life. We've been taking our listeners on this journey where we've been talking about the life of my mother, who also is Gwen's mother, and the impact that she had on our lives. As most of our listeners will know, she passed away in December 2024. And since then, as a family, we've had time to reflect on the impact that she had, the legacy that she left for us, and just the many ways in which she touched our lives. And not only that, but this has also given us the chance to look at the totality of our lives in general, like given the impact of, our father and how much it meant to us and the impact that we can have. So in line with that theme of Dancing with My Mother, which is the title of the overarching title for this series, the subtitle for today is called Pressing On. And Pressing On, the words to Pressing On, the poem itself and the song that I made out of it, came to me soon after Amma passed away. So that's kind of the inspiration for this episode. But today we're going to do something different. I'm sure most of the listeners have heard me talking about these poems, these songs, and what they mean to me. But today, I've asked Gwen to come in and share her own thoughts. And we'll still use the same format. We'll talk about some of the lines in the poem and all that. But instead of me just telling you what I was going through, what I was thinking, and what this means to me, will let a different voice tell you how they either relate to my thoughts, or how my thoughts inspire them or speak to something else that they see just around those words. So today, Gwen, if you're ready, we can do this. Are you ready?
Sure, we can start.
So the first part of the poem, jumping right in, um, I got the thoughts from the woman in the Bible who one day when Jesus was walking and was headed to Jairus' house. Jairus was a man who had a daughter, and his daughter was sick and dying. And while Jesus was walking to this man's house, there was a woman who had been sick for a very, very long time. And she had been to physicians, and they had failed to cure the disease that she had. And what she did is she just said to herself, if only I can touch the hem of his garment, I'll be healed. And so she kind of pressed through the crowd, and she was kind of crawling on her hands and knees. And when she got to where Jesus was, she reached out and touched the hem of his garment. And this is a story that many of us who are Christians know very well, that she touched the hem of his garment, and Jesus said he felt the power leave his body, and he knew that someone had touched him, and he was saying to his disciples, someone touched me. Or he was saying, who touched me? And his disciples were like, Master, look, there's a lot of people here. Anybody could have touched you. Like it could be incidental. So that's kind of the image that I was working with when I was thinking about that idea of pressing on. So when the first verse says there's a woman sick and no one can help her, my question or my thought is, and maybe you can speak to it in your own ways, but my thought was sometimes life feels like there's no help, especially when you really need it. So I don't want to limit you to explaining my thoughts, but kind of what I was hoping for is you would talk about it, and especially the way you see Amai's life as an example of that, or the way that maybe Amai encouraged you to see life as an example of that. Because pressing on, I think we can agree, is something that our parents did a lot, but they also inspired us to do the same thing. So the ball is in your court. Like, well, sometimes life feels like there's no help, especially when you really need it. And you can speak to that.
Oh, yeah, sure. So for me, I think since on your past podcasts, you were talking of your past episodes, it was all about Amai's passing on, the lessons she taught us during the life we had with her. For me, I would take it back to when she passed away. I will take my sickness in this instance. It was grief. We were grieving for Amai. Everything went downhill. For me, I take Amai as I was staying with Amai, and I take it like she was kind of my partner in everything that we would do. We were partners. We were co-parenting. She used to take care of my kids more than I would have ever done. So when Amai passed away, my life was a mess for me. Life had to continue going on, but I was hurting. My children were hurting. All the people around me, including you guys, she died unexpectedly. So it was so, terrifying for us. It was a dark moment for all of us, and we could have easily lost it. But in this case, relating to the issue of this woman who touched on Jesus' garment. I would say what kept us going was pressing on, was believing that our faith in Christ was going to take us through all this. Even we were grieving so much, but we held on to our faith in Christ, believing that, people were telling us that, time is a healer. It will be easier. The grief will be easier as time goes on. But we were in a dark space. We were in a dark place that, no matter how people trying to console us, it was not making any sense at that particular moment. But I think what kept us going, what gave us hope as a family was our belief in Christ. We would talk, we would have these long conversations amongst us as siblings, but we just kept, encouraging each other, going back to the words that our mom taught us. Amma used to pray for everyone. Sometimes I would walk into a room, maybe 2 a.m., 3 a.m., she would say, "When I didn't sleep, I was awake all this while you guys went to sleep. I was praying for each and every one of you. I was praying for all of my kids." But now she was gone. We're so used to having her around us that we knew that, whatever situations, whatever problems we're having, Amma would just pray for us. That's all she ever taught us. That's all we knew. And then here we were, and she was gone. So I believe that, our faith in Christ, our belief in God, as we were grieving, we kept pressing on to our belief in Christ, that it was going to be okay. Yes, it was not all right at that particular time, but we had hope that it was going to be okay. It was going to be all right. It was going to be well someday. And now where we are is different from where we were in January of 2026, December 2025, January 2026. Now we're in a little bit of a better space, but it's different from where we were when Amai left us. So I relate that bit to that, to say that, we kept on pressing in Christ. If we were not believers, maybe things would have, gone downhill, things would have been worse for us. But that belief that, yes, we're hurting so much, but we knew God was there for us. For me, a lot was, like I said, we were co-parenting my children with Amai. She would make sure that their needs are met. Whatever they would want or need, she would provide whatever my kids required. And for me, I was, left all alone without that partner that I was so used to having around all this while. So a lot was just going on for me, but God's grace kept me going.
When I hear you speak about your actual personal situation, and I know we have each other. It's not just you and I. We have some of our other siblings. I know Peggy and Precious and Swin have been very close to us too, and that's been helpful. But I can tell that, okay, we can talk about our faith, and I don't want us to even act like that's not existent. But the comfort that when I think about this passage and what you're saying, the comfort that I can see that woman having in knowing that Christ was like the last stop, and saying, I'll use every bit of my strength to get as close to him as possible. When you think about the teaching that Christ actually has for us, you've heard about the golden rule. What people really do when they talk about the golden rule is summarizing what Christ said about loving God above all with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and loving your neighbor as yourself. And sometimes it's hard to see, and the Bible even acknowledges this. How can you say you love God whom you cannot see when you don't have love for your brother who you can see? And sometimes it's hard. Yes, we can pray, and we do pray, and I'm with you. I learned to pray at a young age, and I know that my life was all about prayer. But sometimes what you're describing, like the time that we went through from that terrible day in December 2024, is we actually had each other. And what I'm trying to say is that woman's action of reaching out and touching the hem of Christ's garment, even when we are looking up to God, it's also a comfort to know that you can reach out and there's someone, another person who can be touched by you reaching out to them. The same way that, Christ stopped and said, someone touched me, and he felt like someone touched him in a different way than anyone else around him did. He felt the power leave his body and go into that woman and heal her. I can say I felt the same way when you guys were reaching out to me and I was reaching out to you. But your story actually helps me to see just the significance of what we were doing for one another even back then. The hours that we spent on the phone talking to each other, we could have soldiered on. We could have soldiered on in our little corners, everybody just struggling with this. Because you're right. When someone else is telling you that time heals all wounds, when you're in that stage of grief, it doesn't really solve your problem, because most people, they are being sincere. A lot of people have gone through what we went through or what we're still going through. So when they say, I know what you're going through, but those people, they're also there for 5 minutes and they're gone. But when we really needed a constant ear, someone listening to what each person was going through, I think you're right. It really made it easier for us to press on from one day into the next, from one day into the next and into the next. And of course, your children had their go with them all of their lives. She was a present in every moment of their lives. So for them, it's so different than for my kids all the way over here who got to see her maybe 2 or 3 times, and some of them may not actually remember her. So I can really understand what you're describing, and I appreciate it because it does help me to see that even though we are grieving, but actually our grieving was not always the same. You, like you said, you actually had a partner, someone you were doing a lot of daily things with, and all of a sudden she's not there anymore.
She's gone.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to add something else before I move on to the next prompt?
I think the next prompt is okay. Maybe we're still here.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever you feel like saying is good.
I'll take it for the woman needed healing to stop her bleeding, right? But for us, I think we need healing for different situations that we go through. We can talk of many different things. But I also say for me, the healing part, or I don't know if it relates to this, but as I was also, after Amai was gone, I usually laugh about it and say that I think I'm now a grown-up woman. I was my mom's baby.
You were actually the baby of the family, believe it or not. The last born is always the
But
baby.
now,
Yeah.
and as I said, Amai, was a prayer for someone. She would pray for all of us. But now she's gone.
Yeah.
And here I am all alone with my troubles, with my grief, with my worries, with me supposed to now taking good care of my kids.
Yeah.
And this has also taught me to pray for myself.
Yeah.
I was so relaxed. I was so reluctant when Amai was still here with us, because I knew there was someone who is always praying for us. I kept a Bible with me, and when she left a Bible, there were a paper, a white paper with prayer points, where she was writing prayer points for some of her children, their needs, and I was also amongst those who she had written down. I think she had asked Martin or one of my children to write that for her, so that she would always go back to her Bible and pray for those needs which she had written down for her children. But ever since Amai is gone, I can say I feel like I have grown up a bit. I'm now supposed to be praying for myself, praying for my kids, praying for all the situations in my life.
Yeah.
So this has also taught me to step up. This whole, period just taught me to really step up. That I don't have someone to look up to.
Yeah.
It's now me and then my kids. It used to be me. It used to be my kids, me, then Amai. But it's now me and my kids. They also felt it. One of my daughters was like, my daughter Noko. She was telling us that, I don't see myself as Gogo's grandchild. Gogo was also my mom, because she played a huge role in my life. She was a provider. She would, they had their moments with Gogo as Muzukuri and Ambuya, granddaughter and grandma.
Yeah.
So as I was healing as well, I think just God has been there for me in ways that I cannot even explain. But it has made me to become a stronger woman.
Yeah.
It has uplifted my faith in God. And I thought maybe I should just add that as I was grieving, I also got to find myself. I also got to get more closer to God than any other time. And now, as I go to church, as I, go about my daily life, no one is really pushing me. But I also feel that it was Amai who taught us all that. She's only taught us to pray. She's only taught us to go to church. She's only taught us to be believers. And I think when I was in a dark space, that also kept me going. That is also taking me up to where I am today, where I feel like no matter what life throws at me, I will be able to handle it.
Now, when I was listening to you, and of course, we're not going to compare your life to mine. That makes no sense. But I'm thinking also, when we were younger, yes, we all had the same experience. Like as kids, when she taught us to pray as kids, when she taught us to read the Bible as kids. And I'm kind of jumping ahead here a little bit, but when we were young and we started going to boarding school, and we knew those things would cost money, uniforms would cost money. And when you had your kids, when they started going to boarding school, and you knew that these kids would need school fees, and his strategy never changed. We were the way she, and let's just using this pressing on idea, the way that she helped us to not focus on what we didn't have
Oh, yeah.
and helped us to go out and do our part. Consulia might, went to Monte Casino. Auxilia went to Monte Casino. Peggy went to Monte Casino. Swin went to Shungu. Peggy went to Monte Casino. Farai didn't go to boarding school, but he made his own choices there. Precious went to Monte Casino. I went to St. Ignatius. You went to Howard. It wasn't easy coming from where we came from to have a whole family of children who get invested in. But what I'm trying to say is, because when I think about your kids and what you're saying about thinking about Gogo as your mother, is it's not like life magically became easier for you or her, and to where for your kids to go to boarding school was like a cakewalk. That's not what happened. There was still a lot of unknowns. Like when a child would get enrolled in a school, then would still be praying like, Lord, how are we going to make sure that all these kids have the school fees is paid for, all the stuff they need when they go to school, whatever the school says they need, so the kids, when they go there, they can only focus on the school. As kids, I think once we left the home and we were out at boarding school with our friends, I think we forgot what it took for our parents to make those things. But
we always do.
But what you're saying actually is helping me to understand that, I look at my life. It's not the worst life anyone has ever had. But, I still have aspirations for certain things. And even when I achieve the things that I set out before myself, as a man, I also still set other goals for things to achieve. But when I look back at the life that Amai had, it's almost like she never stopped, to your point, praying about the needs of the people that were in her circle, starting with us, your children, and now you're talking about her grandchildren. I'm kind of getting the picture in my mind right now that this idea of pressing on, I know you're saying it now that you feel like you're a grown woman, not just Amai's last born. I feel like once you understand that, you don't put it down. It's not something you put on, then you take it off and you say, well, my part is done, so now I can stop. It feels like this is once you become aware of, well, the easy way in life is to just take it to God in prayer, then that becomes the solution to every day, right? every situation that you come into from that moment,
take it to prayer.
Every day becomes that, okay, I guess I know what to do now. Whereas before, it's like as a child sent to boarding school, you're like, well, I got my mazoe, I got my orange drink, I got my cereal, my powdered milk, I got my cookies and candy. I got everything I need. And our kids probably, your kids probably went through the same things. I'm making a big assumption. But as kids, even though they are aware that life is not easy, but once you're removed from a situation, as a kid, you tend to forget. You may not feel the pressure. I know some kids are different.
Obviously.
I know some kids are like, I gotta study, I gotta make all A's, and probably your kids did the same thing because they're doing well now. But there's still a childish stage in life where they just don't understand that, man, I gotta keep my foot on the pedal. I gotta keep. Yeah.
It's my parents who get more for me. Once I finish this up, they'll get more for me.
Yeah. So what you?
So
yeah, go ahead.
I think growing up, Baba, our dad, he was a provider. He was a hard worker.
Oh, you call him your
And
dad?
I think
Did you ever
Baba.
call? You ever called him?
I said Baba.
I know you did,
I said Baba, our dad.
And I said, in real life, I never called him that. I think I might have tried once, but I think he told me that was not acceptable.
We all failed.
No.
No.
Sorry for
It
cutting
was
you
Baba.
off. Go ahead. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
So Baba was a hard worker. He was a provider. So Amai was also a hard worker, but she was a strategist. And she was just a woman full of wisdom. She had a vision not only for herself, but also she wanted to see us excel, all of her children excelling. And even, her nephews, her nieces.
Yeah.
Some up to now they do not consider as Amai's nieces or nephews, or because Amai also had a big heart. She could accommodate everyone who was in her life.
Yeah.
So I think that also taught us it's not like they had everything sorted out. They were a rich couple, Baba and Amai, but I think they were a power couple. Now we can say that because Baba was bringing, all the provisions. He was, like I said, he was a provider. And it also took a good woman to support a hardworking woman.
Yeah.
So it also taught us, Baba was more on the strict side. He didn't tolerate any nonsense. We were brought upright. There were rules in our family, in our household.
Yeah.
Both Baba and Amai were like that. They didn't accept, things which were not right. And also I think that shaped us to become who we are. Or like for me, my parenting style, I always, take a leaf from that. I always say we are living in this generation, but the way I am raising my kids, I borrow a little bit from the old way, the old school way. I saw that it helped us, it shaped us as individuals. And this is also helping me to raise my children. Like we're saying, they're doing okay. And I also owe it to that, to the life lessons, to the way we were raised by Baba and Amai. And like you are saying, it's not easy raising children. For me, I'm a single mom. That's why I miss Amai so much in this whole mix. Because if she was there, I know some of the challenges we are facing right now would be, resolved easily. So Amai was, like you are saying, every situation, she would pray about it. If we were like facing a hurdle or a challenge, she would call me my Noku. Noku is my firstborn.
Yeah.
So I'm a my Noku. I was my Noku to her. So whenever I would say, Gogo, this is happening. What do we do? We are faced with a challenge here. Gogo would just say, we'll pray about it. And she would pray about it. For some of us, when someone comes to us and say they are not feeling well, we just say, we'll pray for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do not mean it. Sometimes we do not even follow up with a prayer. It's just, we'll pray for you and that's it. But for Amai, I know she would go in prayer. She would pray for every situation. Be it we want money, we want someone to be healed, we want provisions in our house. She would pray. Even when we say our car is running out of fuel, she would pray and say, God, I need a solution right now. So it has always been like that. Coming from Africa, we know there are a lot of beliefs. People believe in the African tradition, religion, different religions. People can take not in a bad way. Maybe when one is having a period pain, some would resort to herbs, some would resort to painkillers. As simple as a period pain, But for Amai, I should say, we'll pray about it. For simple things, it was always we'll pray. for bigger things, it was always we'll pray about it, no matter how big or small the situation was. And this is also left a mark for us, for all her children, for all those who were in her life, that whatever we are faced with, we'll just take it to prayer. We pray about it, no matter how small or how big the situation is. She made big situations seem like they were, small situations. She was an encourager, but her encouragement was always based on the word of God.
Yeah.
She would always go back to the Bible. She would always relate our daily struggles, our daily life situations. She would always take them back and relate them to the Bible stories. So I think that has left a mark. It has, shaped our lives up to where we are now. We know that we will not be faced by anything. We will not be shaken up by anything. Yes, troubles may come, challenges may come, but we're taught to pray on every situation, to pray upon every challenge or, trouble that may come our way.
I think one of the... go ahead, finish your thought, sorry.
So as we are all now parents.
Yeah.
This is what we are hoping to pass on to our children as well.
Yeah.
When we have, we're talking about school fees, when we're talking about provisions, life has not been easy for me. But she made it seem easy. She made it seem achievable. She made it seem like, it can be done so easily. So we are hoping to pass this on to our children, that with prayer we can, conquer everything.
I 100% agree with your thoughts. And I don't want to jump too far ahead, because there's a section there that talks about gratitude and humbleness too. But I think it's her legacy of faith that you keep bringing up. And I think that when I look back, as far back as I can remember, we were not the only Christians who grew up or grew up. Like, some of our neighbors went to church with us. I know the Mageza family who went to church with some of our age mates. Our mother was close friends with, Maijo, all that. And I know everybody wants good out of life. Parents want good for themselves. That's true. You and I understand that. They want good for their kids, and we all want that what we do now makes a difference in the people that come after us. Like, our children's children should have better lives than we have. I think that's a natural thing for people to want to sow seeds that show up as good things for future generations. And one of those areas definitely is in the way that Amai raised us to learn to walk circumspectly in the faith. I know Baba you said he was a strict man. The thing about Baba was he wasn't going to church, even though he made us all go to church and go to Sunday school every Sunday. If you did not get up on time to go to Sunday school on Sunday, that was a crime. You may be in tears, but you make it to Sunday school on time. It's like, why is this man? But I think Baba saw how Amai's faith was important to her, and it was helping their lives, and he supported that part, the things that she did, because she believed. Because you might not have come to Christ himself, especially when we were younger. I know towards the end of his life, he had gained salvation. I'm using the word gained. I don't even know why, but you guys were there. You saw him. I was not there. I did not see. But you guys saw the change that happened in his life towards the end. And I know, without going into a whole bunch of details, him and Amai mended things. I know towards the end, Amai was even talking to me like he was going to move in with her, and he was helping her get furniture for the house that she was living in and all this stuff. It's a remarkable kind of faith to set that example for us, that she could look past, beyond what had happened in the hard times that they endured, the two of them, her and Baba, and give us an example of that healing, that forgiveness, that caring for someone, and accepting that when Baba said what he said about, respecting her, and maybe saying he was sorry for the bad things that had happened in their relationship, that was an example for us, because you are a single mom, and I know that cannot be easy, and I don't know what it's like to be that way. But you don't have to live. That cannot be your only identity, to be so bitter about that relationship that you are in a box, you're confined, you can never leave that space. But I think the example that I see maybe in you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is you've chosen to be free of the hate and the bitterness that the failure in your marriage might have caused. But Amai was there for you through all those things too. She
was. All of you guys were there for me.
Well, but Amai was really there. I was here in America. I didn't see you the nights you might have cried. I wasn't there when hateful things might have been done or said to you. I wasn't there when your kids needed to understand why their family was different. You dealt with, even if you had to go to talk to the teachers at the schools, it was probably you and Amai, not me. I wasn't there when you were going through all those hardships, talking about Amai staying up and praying and trying to say, what are we going to do? If you guys were moving from one house to another, Amai would be like, so which school is this child going to go to? Those are the kind of things that
I think it makes me appreciate our Africanism, this bit. When we have this saying which says a child is raised by a whole village. So for me, it was the support system that I got. It was Amai, it was Baba when Baba was still there. It was you guys. You made it easier for me. It's not easy being a single parent. It's highs and lows. It's demands, but without a proper support system, you cannot go far as a single parent. So I owe it to you, Baba. Like you were talking about Baba. Baba was not, probably he didn't go to church, but I think he was a believer. I think he was a man of faith, because even Baba would take care of the poor. Baba would take care of the needy. Baba would provide for people in our community. He was not a stingy man. I believe those acts alone, even if you go back to the Bible, it's taking care of the poor, of the needy.
The Bible,
it also shows your faith in
the Bible. Does require that we do that, and I think that's one of the things that when you go to the early church, that they did really well. But also, I think Jesus talks about those, like, you come to me and you say, Lord, Lord, and those are the things that you would look to, like, well, when I was poor, what did you do for me? When I was sick, you didn't come and see me. When I was in prison, there's all kinds of things that are just humane to do, that even the scriptures or the gospels recognize as you don't have to be the preacher, but even preachers should have compassion in their heart for the poor and the needy and the sick. and for the
Mhm.
old, and talking about Baba, I mean, another example that he did set for us is, and even the Bible speaks to this.
Mhm.
A man is responsible for taking care of his family, especially your mother if she's a widow
Yes.
or something. A real,
Mhm.
if you don't take care of the family that you have, I think the Bible calls that an infidel, and that's just saying, you're low life man. You're not a real
Mhm.
man if you're not doing your part to
Mhm.
take care of the people in your life.
Mhm.
So
You
yeah,
should do your part as a man.
I think Baba did have those qualities. Yeah, like he wasn't stingy.
Mhm.
He never stopped us from doing good, and I think those are great qualities. Of course, when we're talking about
Mhm.
salvation, we want someone to actually say, "I do accept that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior." But Baba was a
Mhm.
good man growing up and a good father to us, and
Mhm.
there is some bad history in there, but I know towards the end, I believe that he turned his life over to Christ, and I don't know how far that was before he died, but towards the end, I know
I did.
yeah.
Mhm. He
Well,
did.
and a part that I think I want to
Mhm.
I want to get to is the part
Mhm.
that when he says, let's talk about gladness. Like gladness is not always easy, but we must show gratitude. One of the things that actually I am embarrassed by this.
Mhm.
I wasn't always able to give Amai everything that I wanted to give her. But if you ever gave Amai something and she thanked you
Mhm.
like you gave her the moon and the stars and all the planets, there was such
Mhm.
it was such and your gratitude was not fake, you know. There were
No,
times
it was not.
there were times when I wished I could move heaven and earth to give her
Mhm.
a very small thing, just to say, because of who you are, I just, I just, I just want. My love is so big that I wish I could do everything that I want to for you. You know, and
Mhm. Mhm.
that that is the that is something that I feel like I might never forgot to do, to show gratitude.
Mhm.
She didn't have to wait for things to be perfect. I think sometimes we make the mistake that
Mhm.
things have to be a certain way for us to be able to
Mhm.
say thank you with a full heart. I'll tell you the opposite of that. Raising kids.
Mhm.
Kids do dumb things, and I have a
It's
bunch
not
of
about kids.
I have a bunch of kids in this house. But I was dealing with this
Mhm.
with the twins. I think even all the boys, where they would hurt each
Mhm.
other, or they would say something dumb, and they would hurt each other's feelings. And then I would be sitting there waiting for them to say, "Hey, I'm sorry," and they wouldn't do it.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
you just said something mean, or you just did something that hurt someone's feelings, and here we are at the
Mhm.
table, and you are just eating your food and not even blinking an eye.
Has not happened.
And then
Mm.
I would ask them, "So why are you not saying you're sorry?" And one of the boys told me one time, like, "Yeah, I really need to go and think about it. And then when I know
Okay.
how sorry I am, then I'll come back and apologize." I'm like, "No, that's not how it works.
Mm. It doesn't work like
The
that.
the moment your brother says you hurt me, the moment you realize
Mm.
your words have hurt somebody,
Mm.
that's the right moment for you to actually stop what you're doing and say,
Mm.
'Look, I'm sorry. I went too far.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I did
Mm.
this thing.'" I said, "Excuse
Mm.
me." I said to them, "I don't mind if you come back later and talk to your brother again and say, I really need
Mm.
you to forgive me for what I did. And for you, I actually would be happy if you actually came and said, "Oh, I really took time to pray, or Baba, can you pray with me?" I said, I have, but there's no reason for you to wait a couple of hours, then come back and say you're sorry. Like the moment, but I only say that to show the other side of it. But the side that I really find that in the middle of life's hardships, Amai's stories, I don't know if you ever had this opportunity to sit with her. You probably did. Amai had this mangled toe, right? That she got stepped on by this donkey. It tells you the kind of life that she had growing up. As a young girl, she was doing these really, really hard jobs. But the only way you would know is if she showed you that big toe that got stomped on by the donkey. Most people, when they talk about our mother, they talk about the joyfulness. You've met people. Precious has told me about some people that she met after Amai passed away. That the thing they compliment the most about her life is the joy that she brought into their lives, the way she gave meaningful gifts and attention to people, and that's in the background we know her sufferings. We know she had psychosis for years, right? We know that she was seeing all these doctors and all these specialists and going through all these treatments, whatever. But the way she pressed on through life is that she was grateful for the good things, and she took the time out to share those. So I don't want to be the one who does all the talking, but that was something that I thought maybe gratitude, the way she lived her life, and maybe what you might have seen there, that despite her many sufferings and the many hardships, that there's a lot of gratitude and gratefulness in her life.
Oh yeah. She was like that. She was just like that. She would appreciate even the smallest of gestures, be it a simple meal, a well-cooked meal, or just taking time to be with her. One of my kids has the middle child. He likes cooking, and Gogo would just compliment him each time he makes a meal. So in the last days before Gogo passed on, she was like Gogo's chef. And each time would bring the meals to Gogo. She would finish up her meals, the food, and she would just, with a huge smile, she would be like, "Thank you so much, Tazi. The food was nice." These were simple gestures Tazi was trying to. She now knew that Gogo liked his cooking. Oh, Anu is my last one. Anu would just come and sit by Gogo's side. They would talk maybe briefly, maybe long hours. But Gogo appreciates each and every one person in their own way. She knew how to make people feel loved. She knew how to make people feel cherished. She knew how to make people feel appreciated, even if they've done small deeds. She was just like that. She had a huge heart for strangers, huge heart for extended family members, for church people, for people within a community. She was just like that. And I think we may try to emulate that, but we have bigger shoes to fill. Gogo would not look for what's missing, would not only look for the challenges, but she would look for the goodness in everything, every situation that she would encounter. It's, for most of us, we look for what's missing, the challenges we're encountering, but she would look at the best things within those challenges. What good might come out within a situation. So she would encourage people to give. She was a giver. Even when she didn't have much, the little that she had, she would just share it with others. So yeah, she left us, with a lot to desire, a lot that we feel that will be able to carry, to carry on with us. So yeah, we've all fond memories of Gogo. How she lived her life, how she loved. Like I always repeat that she had a very huge heart. That people would, warm up to her like that. Because I don't remember, yes, we have moments where there's sadness, where there are, troubles. But for Gogo, she would overcome all those. She would just say, with my God, nothing can, make me sad. With my God, no trouble. She would say there are bigger troubles than these ones. So she would always, thank God for whatever the situation that would have gotten in her way.
Yeah, I agree about the shoes being too big. I think we should not even try and fill those shoes. I think we'll fail miserably. But one thing, knowing that she was such a huge presence, I don't know how our kids will view us, but I think that's the way it's supposed to be. I think we're supposed to look at our parents that way, that they occupy such a huge place in our hearts, in our minds. And if they're good parents, they occupy the good places, the good memories. And of course, it's sad when they're not good parents. Amai was a really good mother. And it doesn't take away from other people's influences in our lives. But I think that's the right thing. I think as a parent, I'm raising Makanaka. He's gonna be 18 soon. And when you read, you've done this childhood development stuff. When you read the studies and when people talk about how the brain develops in children, which years are most critical, and how the things we do from the day they are born to about when they are 5, how we shape so much of how they see the world. You don't want to take it for granted, because really, once kids start exploring on their own, if you haven't found a place in their hearts where they value you as a parent, I think you just open that space for something else to fill it in, and that becomes the dominant thing. And I know it doesn't have to be that scientific. What I'm just trying to say is I want, not like I want to be my kid's hero and everything, but I know the world is just a crazy place. There's so many influences out there. I want my kids to be as prepared for life as possible when they leave the house. I left Zimbabwe when I was 21, and when I look back, even then, I look at some of my pictures from 1999. I'm like, what was I doing leaving home? I look like I was like a lost puppy. I was like, what was I? What were they thinking? Letting me come out this far away from home. But I think both our parents had done the best they could for all of us. And when that time came, they knew that yes, though we would face challenges, but of course, I'm talking about it was always with prayer. But they'd done a good enough job to raise us right, that even if we found ourselves in a fog somewhere, lost in a big city or whatever, we would still have that compass. Our hearts would still know the right way to go, and that I think speaks to maybe the shoes that no one else can fill. But it's not just because they were just dominant presence, but they really established in us the concrete places, the foundation that we could really build on. And that's part of that's for me. That's part of the legacy that Amai has. Well, let me go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna look at my notes here and see what else we can talk about. That's not repetitive.
I think as we are raising our children, for me, I always tell my children to just to be kind to others.
Yeah.
I teach them not to take things for granted. I've also, in some cases, I've sacrificed my happiness so that I am always present in their life. So I think I learned from our parents in the 90s, in the 80s. Before there was you going to the States, there was diaspora. Our parents were very present in our lives.
Yeah.
Life was so simple.
Yeah.
For me, I think I got opportunities where I could have maybe stayed in the States, stayed in the UK, stayed in Germany. But I just told myself I wanted to be present in my lives, in my children's life.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want, sometimes when you're not there, when you're not present, like we were saying, they might get, they might meet people who inspire them to do bad things. Or they might get, bad advice, peer pressure. And I always try to make sure that their life lessons, I always relate to the way we were brought up. I always relate to the Bible, to the stories in the Bible. Secular stories, what's going on around us. I always make sure that I share things that I find on the internet which are not positive. I always share with them. I just try to have this relationship, to be connected with them. Yes, we are maybe generations apart, as they say. I hear that they are the Gen Z and the what? And the millennials.
I don't even know what those things are. I just hear them and they go in one ear and come out the other. I don't even know what generation I am. Yeah.
I don't even know.
I'm too old to care about
which one
that.
I am as well. Oh, yeah. So we as parents, we have a role to play in shaping how our children going to come up or come out like. It is us as parents. We instill values in our children. We teach them what's wrong and what is right, what is expected from them, how to relate with others. So for me, I think it is important for us as parents to be present, to be connected, and to always know what our children are going on about, so that we do not miss out on them as they develop, as they get older, as they get to, know more about themselves, decide what they want to be or what they want to become. I think we have to be present.
I think that's not that it's easier said than done, because I remember when Amai would ask me some very personal questions, not like anything gross or anything, and how much I just didn't want to share some of the things that I was getting into. It's not when these kids become teenagers, they change,
They do.
They of course, most teenagers think they know better than their parents. I think it's universal. It's a universal syndrome. But
we have to let them know that they can always come back to us. It's okay to come back with us, even when it's embarrassing or when you want to know something, when you need guidance. They should just know that they can always come back to us.
And I think that's the sign of a good parent. One who makes it known and clear to their children that I care enough to want to be part of your life, and opening the door, so then they can come around and feel more, invite you more and more into their young adult issues and they become grown-ups, you can have those relationships with them as well. And I think I think obviously as siblings we are all different. We're not all the same. And one thing that as parents that I've learned as a parent is you have to learn to love each child just the way they are. And make yourself the parent that's best for them. And sometimes you're gonna get something's wrong. Yeah, you don't always know how to be a parent, and there are times when, like we've been saying about Amai, you just have to go by faith that I'm doing what's in my child's best interest. And if we did not have that example with Baba and Amai, watching them deal with each one of us and then internalizing some of those things, we would probably be taking some hard lessons and fails in life trying to do this without that roadmap. And I think that roadmap they gave us, you mentioned that at the beginning, the roadmap that they gave us was really crucial. Like Baba was not always smiles, not that he never smiled. I know he
Now we
smiled,
appreciate him more.
but if I think back, I can actually see him smiling. But as a kid, because I did so many,
there were moments.
I did so many dumb things. No, you didn't always smile. And my wife, I think whenever Steph hears this, she's gonna be like, "I told you so." But when I deal with the kids, I'm not always like the smiliest and happiest merry-go-round person.
Now you know what Baba was going through.
I know what he was going through, because I'm like, these kids are so dumb. If I just keep smiling at everything, someone is gonna end up crippled in this house because they did something extra dumb. So I always have to be extra careful with them. But yeah, we learned so much, we gained so much just by them. Yeah. So we're getting close to the end here, and I probably just want to, as a way of thinking about wrapping this up, the thought that I think I check with me as far as this pressing on is concerned is, Amai taught us to press on. She loved us the way God loved her, and that's something we talked about also. You can't just be a prayerful person and not then show the love of God to people around you. It's like, this person prays a lot, but boy, they are mean. This is a very prayerful person, but boy, they love to fight. No. I think one of the things that we take away from Amai's legacy is, Precious told me this story, and I'll probably give you a chance later on when I get to have her on the podcast, that she walked into a store after Amai passed away, and it was like a lady who sells dresses, and Precious was in there for something. And the lady was like, "Hey, how is your mother?" And Precious was telling the lady that Amai had passed on. And the lady was like, "Oh, I remember your mother. Every time she came in here, she always did ABC." And the things that she listed, were all really good things that we can all relate to. But the impressive thing is, that's the way she also loved us, I mean, our stories don't always surprise us about what she did for you, what she did for me. No, I mean, the things that each child needs, those things may be unique, but the way Amai conducted herself, that was not unique at all. She did that. You mentioned some of our cousins and some of Amai's nieces and nephews, and even people who came to our house pretending to be relatives but were not. And
Mm-hmm.
Between her and Baba, they took all those people in, and a lot of people got their start in life because Amai and Baba allowed for them. And you were talking about this earlier too, as far as providing for the poor and the needy. And that's what I'm saying here. Amai, she loved us the way God loved her. Because when you look at Amai's background, the way she grew up, it was hard. Her childhood was hard. Her early teenage years were really, really horrendous. She got married at a very young age, and that should not have happened to her. All of those things, but she pressed on.
She did.
All through all of those things, and when she found God and she got saved, and she found the faith that she established her life on, man, everything, her whole life changed. And by extension, she made our lives so much more beautiful. I'm going to say this thing, then I'll let you have the last word. The last thing I'm going to say here is just taking the lessons from Amai's lives is it's very difficult to live a life with regrets if gladness is in your heart. But that's kind of because when I think about that woman who was touching the hem of Christ's garment, I don't know whatever happened to her at the end after that story. The Bible doesn't follow up with her. But if something like that happens to you, if you find God the way I might found God, and He heals you from something that no doctor could, and we both know Amai had sicknesses that only God could have brought her through. When we were young, she was sick and she almost died. Again, when I was in boarding school, she was sick and she almost died. When I was in America, she died and she was here with me, and we all thought she was gonna die. And she didn't. And every time she came back, she was healthy and she had many more years of life. And then the joy and the testimony of her life is, well, God did that. So why shouldn't I be glad? And when I think about the woman that we use as part of the story, the one who touched Jesus' garment, the hem of his garment, I cannot imagine her going to her life and not being glad for every day that she had. If she had been sick for 38 years, and let's say God gives her another 38 years, I would imagine if that was me, when people had written me off, that I would have gladness for every day that God gave me. But that's what I think about. That's what my thoughts were when I wrote this poem and these words. That Amai's life was that example to me of someone whose life had been touched by God so much that the only thing she had in her heart was an overwhelming, overrunning well of gladness, and that I don't believe that she had regrets for the life that God gave her. So those are my 2 cents. I'll let you. I'll let you bring this to a close.
Like you said it earlier on that Amai, her life, Amai's growing up, her life, it was filled up with struggles. But she didn't let that determine who she was going to be. It didn't, Amai became this woman we're all talking about. I was full of wisdom, was good loving, was so caring, with a huge heart. But if you look at her growing up, things were not all rosy. But she turned all that around. God gave her the wisdom. God gave you the mind, the courage to turn all that around and rewrite, a wonderful story of yourself. We might be sad, but each time I think of Amai in this house is full of, the good memories. I always find myself smiling whenever I think Amai in my sadness, because of who she turned out to be, because of what she achieved, because of the woman she became. I always find myself smiling, my heart filled with joy that, I was blessed to have known her. I was blessed to have walked my journey of life with Amai being on my side. And all this, it just teaches us that by faith, all things are possible. It teaches us not to be afraid, that my today will not determine my tomorrow. Amai's troubles did not determine her future. She came out well. She raised so many children. I will not only say 8 children. Mm-hmm. She raised a lot of us, including her nieces and nephews. She did an awesome job.
Don't forget her grandchildren also. She raised them.
Oh yeah, and the grandchildren. Oh yeah, definitely those ones. Yes, she did a good job raising us. She did a good job raising a village, and all our lives we're just going to live honoring Amai of the good things she did for us, of the life lessons she taught us, of how her happiness filled our hearts. And I'm sure all of us, I will not even, if we all the time would just be repeating of the good deeds that she did. We're going to, forever miss her. But we will take a life as a life lesson for all of us. And with that, I would just say nothing is impossible as long as you believe. All things are possible if you only believe. And Amai taught us that in simple ways, in simple terms, in all the things that she did, in her life teachings, by her being a prayerful woman, she just taught us to keep pressing. She taught us to keep believing, no matter where you find yourself, no matter in any situation you find yourself, in any circumstance you find yourself, be it in grieving, be it in mourning, be it in happiness, celebrating, difficult times, she just taught us to believe. She just taught us to keep on pressing, keep on going, keep on calling on the name of the Lord, and all things shall come to pass. All things would be well. So, yeah, I think in closing, that's all I have to say.
Well, to the Gwen, thank you for making the time, for waking up with the breaking of dawn over there in Zimbabwe, and for just giving your voice and your thoughts to this episode. It's something that I've wanted to do for a very long time, and I also want to do this not just because we can talk about it, but I know with this record, it's something that our kids can always come back to, and then they can listen for themselves, and they can hear. Oh, so yes, these stories will probably touch other lives, in the future when maybe you and I are not even around. Maybe our grandchildren or great grandchildren, who knows? They might run into some of these and hear our voices and hear stories about this woman named Esnat who made it all possible. And for that, I thank you. I thank you so much for your thoughtfulness and your words. And I guess I will talk to you again some other time soon.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right,
catching up and yeah.
I love you, and I will talk to you later.
Love you too. Bye.
Oh, don't hang up yet. I'm gonna say bye to our audience and thank them for hanging in there with us, for just tuning in and listening again. Like I said at the beginning, I know this is not everyone's cup of tea, but for those who have listened this far, all the way to the end, we want to show our appreciation just by saying thank you. And hopefully these stories add value to your lives. You find them useful, meaningful, and maybe they help you deal with grief, loss, or whatever stage of life you might be in where you just need to hear something encouraging. Thank you for listening to the Life Story Podcast. We'll see you in the next one. Bye. Now you can say bye.
Bye.
All right, Gwen, I'll talk to you later.
All right, Sepo.
All right, love you.
Bye. Love you too. Bye.